Hey guys, this is Gregor for PreSonus, and in this video I want to provide you with an equipment list of things you would need to get started recording with Studio One. Now all of this information is already accessible on our YouTube channel, but because we have so many different videos out there, it's kind of difficult to find this information on your own, so hopefully we can now consolidate all of this in one place with this video here. Now, your equipment list that you're going to need to get started also depends wildly on the kind of content or music that you want to do in Studio One. Are you planning to do a podcast or do you want to record some guitar? That, of course, is a completely different gear requirement, but I'm sure you know that. I mean, a guitarist wouldn't forget about his guitar when he starts recording in Studio One, right? So let's leave that out of the way and talk more about the equipment that you would need regardless of what you're trying to do. Although I also want to give you some microphone recommendations in a little bit. Now, throughout this presentation, I'm going to provide you with links to other helpful videos of our channel in the video description. This is kind of like an overview video that is meaning to consolidate all of that in one place so that you can find it easier. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna need is obviously a computer. It would be a Windows or Mac computer, one of the two if you want to run Studio One. And I've done a video that's quite extensive and goes over all the things that you should watch out for when you buy a new audio computer. I'm gonna link this video here so you can check it out. But in general, most modern computers should be more than capable to run a digital audio workstation such as Studio One. Just make sure that you also pay attention to thermals, that the fan doesn't get too noisy, because that could be a little bit annoying when you're recording an acoustic instrument or your voice. And also make sure that you consider at least one fast hard drive. More information on this topic in the video that I've linked. As I said, there you can find out all about the specs and recommendations that I would give. Moving right along, the next thing on your shopping list should obviously be Studio One. Now you can try out Studio One 30 days for free without any limitations by simply making an account on my.presonus.com, and there you're gonna be taken straight to the installer. I've also made a video recently that walks you through the entire download and installation process of the demo, so go ahead and check that out, it's linked right here. After the 30-day period, you can either continue working with Studio One for free with Studio One Prime. It's more than enough for most content creators and podcasters, but it lacks a lot of the virtual instrument and MIDI functionality, the arranger track, and all of the things that make Studio One quite unique. You also have Studio One Artist, which is like the little brother of Studio One Professional. That is a really great value product, especially because it comes bundled with much of PreSonus hardware. Or you could just go at a very low monthly fee and get it all with PreSonus Sphere, which is our monthly membership and gives you everything that we do at PreSonus software and everything we're going to do in the future. Okay, moving on to the next equipment item that you're going to need, regardless of what you want to record in Studio One, an audio interface. Why do you need an audio interface? Well, an audio interface enables you to connect your instruments, such as your electronic guitars or your microphones, so that you can then record them directly into Studio One. Likewise, they also come with a pair or multiple outputs that you can use to connect professional studio speakers that you couldn't otherwise connect to your computer, or a couple of studio quality headphones such as the PreSonus HD9. In case you got your audio interface already, then please follow the link here to watch my how to set up your audio interface tutorial for Studio One. The Revelator audio interfaces in particular that I'm showing you here also make anything that you plug into them, whether it's guitars, vocals, or whatever have you, sound amazing due to the onboard effects. And also they come with very powerful routing software that you can use to broadcast anything that you're hearing from any app on your computer to either a live stream audience or a Skype or Zoom conversation partner. I'm also linking you to a couple of our Revelator videos right here if you want to find out more about that. Now, for anybody who's looking at recording some vocals, doing some beatboxing, podcasting, or recording any kind of spoken word content, you also want to look at a microphone that you can then plug into the audio interface. Or if you don't need any extra inputs at all, you really just want to record your voice, then you could look at one of these Revelator microphones, which give you a 2-in-1, because the audio interface is built right in. But regardless of whether you go for the Revelator or not, in general, there's two different types of studio microphones. There's condenser microphones, such as the one here on the left, that pick up the room sound quite well and you don't have to be too close to it. Or there's dynamic microphones, such as the one on the right, where you really have to be close to it, but on the bright side, this also cuts out a lot of environmental noise. Moving right along to yet another very important topic, let's talk audio cables. I would say there's 4 different types of audio cables that anyone should know about. There's TRS cables with these 2 rings here, which are also known as balanced or stereo cables. You'll also find them with just 1 ring, that would be a TS or instrument cable. E-guitarists are probably well familiar with that. In general, these are just the bigger brothers of these smaller mini jacks that you surely know from consumer electronics and such. Then there's the very iconic XLR connector. That's what it looks like. It has a male and a female end to it. That's what they are called. And generally speaking, these cables are used to connect either high quality studio microphones or studio speakers. And you find these connectors on a lot of PreSonus equipment too. Interestingly enough, if you go for one of the Revelator microphones that I showed you earlier, these are actually just powered by USB-C, which is also a very common studio connector these days. An honorary mention are these MIDI cables, which are kind of old school. They've been around since the early 80s and haven't changed much since. And these are typically used to send and receive node data and things like that to and from electronic instruments such as synthesizers. It used to be a very common standard for many, many decades, but these days USB is generally the preferred connector since they essentially can do the same thing. Now, if you're into electronic music or beat making and you want to record your parts live, or at least some of them, instead of programming everything with your mouse, then you should definitely take a look at the Atom and the Atom SQ. The Atom SQ comes with a nice display and 32 touch-sensitive pads, while the Atom offers bigger pads that are great for finger drumming. If you'd like to learn more about the Atom and Atom SQ, then I'm going to drop some links to our product pages in the video description. Now, whether you go for one of these Atoms or not, I'm gonna link you a video right here that shows you how to set up any kind of MIDI controller or any kind of keyboard in Studio One. So my final recommendation is targeted at anybody who's obsessed with optimizing their workflow, and that would be a production controller such as the PreSonus Faderport. What's great about the Faderport is that it's almost like an additional peripheral device, such as a keyboard or mouse, and it's crazy how quickly it turns into muscle memory. Whenever you want to adjust channel volume and things like that, you just grab that fader blindly, and you can also use it brilliantly for transport control, automation, and things like that. The Faderport is available as a single fader unit that always follows the currently selected track in Studio One. It's also available as a 2-in-1 audio interface, the IO Station 24, or you can also get an 8 or 16 Faderport, and you can also cascade them together in any configuration you want. If you'd like to learn more about the Faderport series, then I'm dropping you a link to our product pages in the video description. Hopefully this video is helpful to you. I tried to consolidate all of the different video tutorials that we've done on these various topics into one video, give you one place where you can find all the links that you need to get started. And with that, thank you for watching.